So, welcome to another round of me trying to improve. My method of madness is to do 5 minutes of typing exercise and 25 minutes of like some programming exercise. I wrote a small application where I keep track of my progress. So here you can see that my error rate is decreasing, which is nice, and my words per minute are increasing on average. On average, that is. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's start the timer. Boom. Let's go. Oh no. Okay, it feels like a higher error rate. That was 6, that's not bad. 642, it's actually a good result, at least in the land of professional grade developer and professional grade beginner. Okay. Where are we? So maybe we can squeeze in another one. Oh no, here. I will finish this. I know I'm out of the time. We will finish this. Where's the E? So, what the hell? Here we go. So what's the result? 636. That's also not bad. 36. No, and we are still under the all-time average, so that's good. So we'll stop this timer, and I will proceed to find some angle spring tutorial, right? So we will go. We are here on the right place. Close surfing and then learning. That little step-by-step stuff is awesome. You know, you're speaking to a fairly dumb person. You need to be more specific. Yeah. Yeah, I do. Well, like yesterday I did like 8 rounds. You're not dumb, use Emacs. Well, that doesn't mean anything, does it? I do use Emacs, but you know, like it's not like I'm writing like eLisp or anything. I just configure it a little bit and then. Really, more than anything, I think I'm using Emacs and Vim to impress other people. Well, I guess it takes me forever. Takes me forever to. I don't know. I just like maybe speaking, but lately I have real problems with self-confidence. It's really hard for me to see any good in me. So thank you. I do appreciate your words. It is what it is, man. Yeah, it does. It does. So we are learning Spring tutorials. Oh, there's a. Oh, and I did already something. Okay, but I kind of feel like I want to start over because I don't remember anything anymore. But there's a. Okay, chat. Is there anyone in the chat who knows like a good Spring tutorial? And also, when there are still some people here that are leaving, everyone is leaving, we have a new channel points rewards, and it is a channel ID background And the brutal lead of no mercy. What is brutal lead of mercy? I guess there's just one way to find out what it is. And the change of the background is, do you see this? This could be your image. It needs to be Twitch safe. I don't want to get banned, you know, so probably if you're thinking human genitalia, not the best pick. But other than that, I think we are fine. And John is saying that being developer is not stressing at all. Okay, we are searching for Spring framework. Okay, so Udemy, that's paid one that we cannot stream. Hacker.io. Okay, that sounds elite. That seems elite. Learn. So we'll have a little turn. We will have a little walk over how to do in Java. It's like I really liked his page, so maybe we could do that one. Yeah, look at him, like 26 years old, you know, guy, you know, like hold on, where's the here's the picture. Big developer is not stressing at all. Yeah, it's harder to see in the in the environment because there's a lot of time there's a text all over it. Well, it's awesome. I love it. I love it. That's today. Cool Crips set this background in my development environment. I really like this. That might be the best points feature I came up with yet. I love it really much. It's always funny. Like this one was good as well. Can you guys please recommend books that make you cry? Data structures and algorithm in Java 2nd edition. We are looking at the tutorials. Yeah. So people are getting their jokes and so on. We also had this one, which shows the intricacies of JavaScript, right? So so there's like non-strict comparison, true to 1 is true, but strict comparison is false. And then you have like this one is great, like array plus array, that is empty string. And array plus an object is string, which contains object. But if you reverse it, you know, you get 0. And also in JavaScript, true plus true is strictly equal to 3. Yeah, that's yeah, good Lord. And Lord MZTE, that's the one who wanted me to set it up, and it's all true. That's actually how it works in JavaScript. That's actually how it works. And well, it is what it is. It is what it is. So let's say that some of the bugs are tricky to debug. If you are looking at the thing and you're like, it should work. Hey, Doctor, nice to see you again. We are doing, more or less, we are doing Spring framework today. And right now I'm looking for some nice tutorial to go through. Frequently, you might be also interested, but what the hell is this? Oh, okay, so here is like top Java Spring framework. Okay, so this is paid, but I don't want to pay it. I want There's it on Udemy, but that would be failed as well. Crap, wrong window. Wait, you say that you are watching other channels too? You are unfaithful? How could you? I thought we know. This one is paid too. Spring JPA, okay, so I'll have a look. Spring MVC, Java 2 blog, go. And the Spring tutorial for beginners. Well, Spring Boot in 3 steps. Yeah, sure, no worries, no worries. Master Java Web Series, REST API with Spring Boot, Udemy, that one is paid too. Okay, so let's see what do we have here. So this one is dismiss. This one is okay. This one costs money, quite a lot of money. So maybe not that. Bye. And here we have something. Understanding dependency injection. I guess we can do that. That's like on. Okay, we could do that. What is this? Collects information from you. Describers like close. GPA tutorial. Okay. There's a like links to another store. There guys. Okay, that's okay. How does it look in? We're tired of writing tests which have a lot of blah blah blah. You have been using AI for yes. As a thank you, we have a special 10% discount. If you're not interested, you have 2 months left for the free tail. Okay. So it looks this original. Oh. Ah. Close. Dark. Okay, so this seems to be almost the same. This post, we will learn this and that. I should just pick one and go with it. So this one is paid too, right? Yes. Bye. Yes, I am doing well, more or less. I'm trying to pick up a tutorial for Spring. Something. I used to do this guy. I used to do this. I went like some time ago. I don't even remember. But now I'm looking. Do you know some like nice Spring framework? And hello, Lord. Welcome back. Nice to see you again. And because I'm not doing the JavaScript bullshit, you might even stay, right, for a bit. Yeah. What is Spring framework? Unorthodox thing. Yeah. But I need to visit the room, you know, the porcelain throne. So I will be back right away. Okay, so I'm back, sort of. So which one we will do? This doesn't... What? This is also like... No. What is this? So those are different tutorials, okay. Beginner to Guru. And the first one is the most popular, right? I'll close this. Oh dude, there's so much things to learn, that's just... Of course not. Oh my god, there's so much things to learn. Spring ORM. Dude. Okay, so which one? Any tips? No? I'll pick something, but... God damn it. Okay, so this is the most popular in here. So we will have a look at this guy. And they want... Well, if you read my name carefully, I might be professional, but I'm professional grade and professional grade beginners, which kind of implies that only thing which well, oh, it's... Yeah, let's just fucking do it. Just fucking... I'm afraid. Description, course overview, go to course, discount offer. Okay, so this one is for money too, right? That's great, because we don't have to do it. Bye! So, which is the second best? W... Okay, same page. Bye. Okay, so this has only the tutorials from that page. This one already starts here, but I don't like, it's like really narrow, the layout, you know, like it will be bad to read on a stream. Haha, do you see what will sync your page? No one will use it. You cannot stream it in big fonts. It might be the best there is, but you know, now people will not see it. Oh, there's so much comments. Thank you very much. Thank you. Best dog I've seen for Spring Boot. Easy to understand. Oh, shit. What is this? Go away. I'll send you an update. God, this just... Overwhelmed is the theme of today's stream. Overwhelmed is the theme of today's stream. Java to blog. Okay, so how is the structure? Target audience, prerequisites, introduction features, architecture. Yeah, well, okay. And Spring tutorial is after all of this crap, all of that crap. Features. Where's the? Come on, where's the first thing? Target audience. For Java programs, we need to understand the Spring framework and its application. You should have a good understanding of the Java. Yeah, I have crappy understanding. I have crappy understanding of everything. Or we can. You know what? I didn't see video of anything for a long time, so we do video. And okay, so this and we do. Oh, come on. No. This is the way. And we say insert. We insert link here, maybe? No. What is it? Java Brains. Java Brains. And here we will insert a link. And that will be this guy. And YouTube tutorial. Here we go. And okay, so let's give it a try, and we'll see. Okay. Okay. Play all.
Hi and welcome to this introduction to the Spring Framework.
Hello.
These series of tutorials are going to cover the Spring Framework, and we'll learn how to use the Spring Framework in our Java applications. Now, what is a Spring Framework? It's actually a lot of things put into one, but the thing that Spring is really popular for is dependency injection. We'll learn what dependency injection is in this tutorial, and that'll form a good introduction to Spring.
Yeah, like all of this, like all of the tutorials, like, hello, welcome. You want to know the fastest and quickest way how to be productive in this thing, right? So let me tell first the history. So you see, in the 1970s, there was no computers, and then they built computers. I was like, holy crap! Why are you telling me that? I don't care. Just give me that. No. And then was this version, and after that, and like, ah, cut the crap. Why everyone feels the need to teach me about? Uh, yeah, this one is not Indian, is it?
Go on in the further tutorials, we'll look at some of the other capabilities of Spring and the other roles that Spring
Oh, it is.
performs in our application. Now, what is dependency injection? This is sometimes called as dependency inversion, and
this guy does not have
the definition is it's a way in which
like
you
bad
decouple
accent.
the conventional dependency relationships
You know,
between
because
objects.
with my crappy English, if you have like really strong accent, I have really bad time.
Say you have two objects that are related to each other, one is dependent on the other. The idea is to decouple this dependency so that they are not tied to each other. I'll just take an example to explain what this concept means. Now, let's say I have a drawing application and I have code that draws different shapes, a triangle, a circle, and a square, and I'm using that code in order to draw certain shapes on the screen. Now I have a circle object, say, and the circle object has a draw method, and I have a triangle object, and the triangle object has a draw method. Now I can use these objects in order to draw a circle or a triangle on the screen. So let's say I have an application class. I can instantiate a circle object inside this class, and I can draw a circle. I can instantiate a triangle object inside the class, and I can draw a triangle. So a code would be something like this. I would say triangle, my triangle equals new triangle, so I'm instantiating a triangle object here, and I'm calling the draw method of that triangle object. Similarly, I'm instantiating a circle object here, and I'm calling the draw method of the circle object. Now let's say I don't want my application class to be tied specifically to these objects. I want to use polymorphism. Now, how do I do polymorphism here? The whole idea of doing polymorphism is having some kind of an interface class or a parent class, and I use the parent class in order to execute the methods of the class, and then
Yes.
at runtime, I supply different children of the parent class, and the methods of the child gets executed instead. Let me clarify that by showing you how I would modify the piece of code in order to implement polymorphism. So let's say I have the circle object and I have this triangle object. Both have a similar draw method. Now what I'll
Yes.
do is I will have a shape interface or a shape parent class that
Yes.
has a draw method, and I will make both the circle and the triangle object inherit from this shape interface or the shape parent class. Now what's
Implement.
going to happen is the
Not inherent. You will implement.
circle, both the circle and I will have a shape interface or a shape
Yeah.
parent class that has a draw method, and I will make both the circle and the triangle object inherit from this shape interface or the shape parent class. Now what's going to happen
okay.
is the circle object is going to override the draw method of the shape, and the triangle
Yes.
object is going to override the draw method of the shape. Now this
Yes.
draw method of the circle will contain the code to draw the circle, and this draw method of the triangle will contain the code to draw the triangle. Now
Yes.
if I have to use polymorphism in my application class, what I would do is in my application class I would write code like this. Instead of initiating a triangle, what I would do is I would say shape equals new triangle. Instead of saying triangle equals new triangle, I'm going to put this inside a shape object. Similarly, I'm going to instantiate a circle and put it inside a shape object. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the shape.draw. Now if shape has a triangle, it's going to call this draw, and if the shape has a circle object, it's going to call this draw. So this is actually polymorphism in action. We are doing something that uses polymorphism concepts. Instead of calling the method of the object itself, I have a handle to this parent object, and I'm going to call the draw of the parent object. Now this parent object could be an abstract class, it could be an interface. The whole idea is that I do not know which object I have when I'm calling this particular shape.draw. Okay, so this is a simple implementation of polymorphism. Actually, it's not really polymorphism because see, what we're doing here is we are still tying the code to a triangle or a circle. I'm still instantiating a circle object inside the application class if required, or a triangle object inside an application class if required. So the application class always knows whether it's a
Yeah, sure. Thanks for stopping by, Alan. And have a great. You're US based, so have a great evening. Bye bye. You're US based, right? I think so.
triangle or a circle. So there's really no point in using a shape. You're not getting any benefit out of it. It's still hard coded to use either a triangle or a circle. So we'll take this a step further. So what we'll do next is, instead of having the code hard coded, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a method.
Start the
I'm
timer.
going to have this method called myDrawMethod, and this is going to take shape as a parameter. Now this shape could be anything. It could be a circle or it could be a triangle. Now this method does not know. All that this method does is it just calls the shape.draw. Now depending on what object you pass to this myDrawMethod, if you pass a circle, this myDrawMethod is going to draw a circle because it's going to call this method. Now if you pass a triangle, the myDrawMethod is going to draw a triangle because it's going to call this method. But essentially what we're doing here is the myDrawMethod does not worry about what shape it is. It knows that whatever object is being passed is a shape,
I like how he explains it.
and it will have a draw method. How it's actually implemented in a circle or a triangle
He
is
explains
not
it nicely,
the
doesn't he?
business of this method. It just calls the draw method, and depending on what object is passed, it draws a circle or a triangle. So this is fine. We have actually removed the dependency of the circle or the triangle from this method, but still note that somebody has to pass this object to the myDraw method, right? There's somewhere an object is created, a shape object is created, be it a circle or a triangle. Somewhere that shape object is created, and this myDraw method is called. So there has to be another piece of code in this class which has the initialization. Say somebody has to do this. Shape equals new triangle. Somewhere else in the class, this has to happen, and then we need to call the myDraw method by passing this shape. So we are still tied to this new triangle, right? We are still not free from it. Somewhere else in the class, we need to have this new instantiation, and we still know what's going to happen. So no matter how many ever times you run this class, it's still going to draw a triangle because we have this new triangle in place. Now, if you have to change this, you will have to modify the class. Of course, you don't have to change the method because this you have insulated, right? We do not have to change this depending on whether you want to draw a circle or a triangle. We have taken that dependency out of this part, but we have added it in this part. So if you have to change this to a circle, I'll have to change this line of code, and the same class will have to be modified. Okay, so now we'll take it a step further. What we'll do is this dependency, we'll take it outside the class, okay? And the class will not know what shape it's drawing. The class will just have a shape. And then we will expect some other class to provide the shape for us. So right now what's happening is, in our application class, we have this triangle object, right? Because we have a new triangle inside this application object. So what we need to do is, we need to have a shape object here instead of this triangle object. And we will ask somebody else. We don't know who that person is yet, but we'll ask somebody else, some other class, some other object, to add this triangle or shape or circle into this application class object. So this is how it's going to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a drawing class. Okay, this drawing class will have a class member variable called shape. It's not going to be a member variable triangle. It's not going to be a member variable of circle. It's going to be a member variable of type shape. Now assume that I have a code like this. I have a class drawing. I have a private shape object. Now what I'll do is I'll define a setter here. I'll define a public setter, set shape, and I will take a shape object and I will set it into this shape. Now this can accept a circle, this can accept a triangle, tomorrow it can accept a pentagon, hexagon. As long as it's a shape, it'll accept this object. And whatever shape object is passed, it's going to set it inside this class. It's going to set it as a member variable. And then I have a draw shape method, which just draws, it just calls a draw method of the shape, whichever has been set. Note that this does not do an initialization. You don't see a new shape here, you don't see a new triangle or a new circle. Okay, the drawing class is going to assume that somebody is going to instantiate that and provide that object to this class. Okay, so now what's going to happen is we are now totally removed the dependency from a triangle or a shape. Now if you want to draw a triangle, you don't have to modify the drawing class. This is going to remain the same. All you need to do is pass a triangle to the setter. You have a drawing.set shape. If you pass a triangle to this setter and then do a
But
drawing
right now it feels like we are just kicking the can down the road, right? It's
draw shape, it's going to draw a triangle.
What's the benefit?
If you pass a circle object to the setter, you say drawing.set shape and you pass a circle object, and then you do a drawing.draw shape, it's going to draw a circle. So what's going to happen is in a different class, you will be doing this. You will be having a triangle, my triangle equals new triangle. I will instantiate the triangle, and then I will have an object of this drawing class. I will do a set shape, and I will pass the triangle. Now it's a triangle, it can be any shape, it doesn't matter. And then I will do a drawing.draw shape, and then the drawing class, it doesn't know what shape it has and it doesn't really care. It just calls the draw shape method, and it's going to call the draw method of the corresponding shape, be it a triangle or a circle. Okay, so now the advantage here is that in our drawing class, instead of having an instance of a specific shape as a triangle or a circle, instead of having an instance of a specific shape, it has an instance of the parent shape object. So this can be anything. Now what's going to happen is I will have a different class which has a triangle, and then this class is going to pass the triangle to this drawing class, and then the drawing class is going to have a triangle. If this class passes a circle to this drawing class is going to have a circle. And then again, as I said, it's open for new objects to be instantiated as long as the object is a shape. So you might draw a new shape, you might create a new shape object which has 100 sides. As long as it's a shape, you can pass that object to this drawing class, and all that the drawing class does is it calls the draw of that shape. The whole idea is that you don't have to modify this drawing class. You just have to pass the corresponding object in a shape, and then the drawing class is going to draw it. But now you might ask the question again, this will have to be modified, right? This different class has to be modified. You need to set a circle for having a circle to be drawn. We need to set a triangle for having a triangle to be drawn. So of course, something has to be changed in order for a program to change. The whole idea is that you are separating the whole dependency out of a class. The drawing class doesn't really know what it's dependent on. It doesn't really know what it's drawing. And the advantage of this is that if what it has to draw changes, you don't have to modify the drawing class because it doesn't really know in the first place. It just draws a shape. So you can make the drawing class draw all kinds of shapes without even modifying, without even changing a line of code of the drawing class. And the reason it's happening is because the dependency of the drawing class to a shape object is not owned by the drawing class. The drawing class does not own the relationship. The drawing class just has a shape. It does not own the relationship of the...
Oh, we are not searching for a programming job anymore. Java Spring, updated information, good.
Actual shape that it's drawing. It doesn't own a circle, it doesn't own a triangle, it just owns the shape. And now the dependency that the drawing class has, dependency to the triangle, is actually injected to the drawing class by something else. It's injected by a completely different class. So this is the principle of dependency injection. Here you can inject a dependency of the drawing class to a triangle. You can later inject a dependency of the drawing class to a circle. So the dependency is not hard-coded in the class. It's actually injected by an entity outside the class. So this is the whole concept of dependency injection. And this is something that Spring makes it very easy to code. Actually, what happens is that this different class that we said, still need to write in this scenario, we need to write this different class that instantiates a new triangle and then injects the dependency to the drawing class. Even this is taken care of by Spring. You just tell Spring saying, hey, I have this object. Now inject this dependency to this object. So you don't have to write this class. You just call the draw shape and then you configure Spring to inject the right dependencies to the right objects, and Spring takes care of that. So this is a very high level overview of dependency injection. I hope the concepts are clear. In the next tutorial onwards, we will use Spring to actually implement this dependency injection, and whatever questions you have, I hope it'll get clearer down the line. In this tutorial, we'll set up our development environment to use Spring Framework.
Seems like they have a web page too, right? Java Bryant Koushik. How the fuck is a framework supposed to help with something so simple? Spring is such bullshit. Well, that is a good question. The Spring Framework. Does he have the domain already? Start learning. Oh, there's. What the hell? Welcome back. Away. Okay. Oh, what the hell? We'll go. I don't like that. Courses. Java, concurrency, essential, generics. Can I search here? Here. That's not it. That's like, oh, it has the same logo. Oh, fuck that.
In this tutorial, we'll set up our development environment to use Spring Framework. So we'll download the jars from the Spring site, and we will customize our IDE in order to use those Spring jars. So I'll be using the Eclipse IDE.
That is actually a good question you had, Lord. Spring, we will have questions, which will be like so. Oh, come on. It's a very good question.
For these tutorials, note that I'm starting with a clean slate. I do not have any
Might be
projects
true.
here. I do not have any custom.
The only thing what they like, what is going, the main claim is that you will be somehow faster developing in Spring.
Libraries, so we'll set up everything afresh. So I'll first create a new project.
Which is nice. What I know is that you don't have to write the queries, and also like well, You know, everything has deadline, doesn't it? Yeah, but I'm afraid that we'll have to wait till the time where the companies will actually pay for quality and not quantity.
Create a Java project. I'll call this Spring Demo. I will be using the Java 1.6 version, and I'll press next.
Shit, this is old. 2000, well, 10 years old.
And finish.
Okay, so maybe I want like different tutorial. I... Oh, I did like how to do in Java. That was kind of nice. So let's see, auto wiring, blah blah blah. Oh wow, there's a lot. Hold on, that was the introduction, and then he goes into details of it. Yes. I don't know. I kind of like the video. Maybe I will go with it. You know, like why not? Yeah, I don't want to search for another tutorial. Oh, let's get it.
Basic Java project which uses the system library. Now what I'll do is I'll create a custom library in which I will put all the Spring jars. I have actually gone ahead and downloaded the Spring distribution from the Spring site. I have it over here, the Spring framework. The current release is 3.0.5. This could be different depending on when you're viewing this tutorial, but the way to get this is to head over to springsource.org and you just download the latest stable distribution. You'll get a zip file. You extract the zip file.
It's Fedora, Linux Fedora, according to the logo in here, I think.
This folder. In this folder, you have a dist folder which has all the jars that we need. So this is
Yep, Fedora. Yeah, you don't.
is what we need to include in our project class path over here. So what I'll do is I'll create a new custom
Use
library.
Maven
So
or something
I have
to
all
do
the
it
jars
for
in
you.
one place, and I can add it to as many projects as I want. I don't have to add each and every jar every time. So I'll go to the properties after right clicking on the project, and I click on the Java build path. Here you have a libraries tab. So the only library that it has currently is the JRE system library because we have selected a Java project in Eclipse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on add library button here. I will choose a user library, press next, and I do not have any user library here. I'll have to create one.
Use Gradle of
Maven
Maven if you're stupid.
Say new user library. I'll call this.
So what do you use if you are smart?
Spring, and press OK. So now I have the blank user library here. I need to add the jars that I need. So I will first click on add jars, and I will add the jars in my Spring Framework download. So again, I go to the dist folder. Here I have all the jars here. I'll add all of them. Select everything and press OK. So all my Spring jars that I've downloaded.
What are the benefits, like, in which way the Gradle is better than Maven?
So Spring also needs Apache Commons logging. So I have actually downloaded that as well. If you do not have it, you can go to the Apache Commons website and download that. So I will need to add that jar as well. So I'll go here. I will choose the Commons logging jar. I'll say okay, so this is added as well. Now I'll click OK, and now that I have this library, I will choose finish so that this library is added. So now I have my Spring library added to my Spring demo application, and now I can write code.
Well, in the later Spring, oh no, that's the Maven, yeah. And I don't know anything about the Guru script,
which uses the Spring functionality because all the jars have been added already.
Yeah, he uses Eclipse. It's still fairly popular on the Eclipse,
understand what the Spring factory
but especially with the guys who have been around for a longer time.
Fundamental to Spring.
They,
in the first tutorial I told
they
you that
favor,
when you talk about Spring, the first thing that normally comes to
I
mind is
did work with one developer who was in love with the last job actually, who was in love with Eclipse.
Factory of beans. Now, what do I mean by a container? Now, say you take an example of a servlet container. For example, Tomcat is a servlet container. Now, what does that mean? Tomcat creates the
it doesn't really matter. Like, if you ask me,
in order to
just
run an application.
Only which matters is if you can produce. Doesn't matter if you did it in Notepad or Eclipse.
You would configure one, and then all these are managed by the Spring container. Managed in the sense it handles the instance. Now, say you take an example of a servlet container. For example, Tomcat is a servlet container. Now, what does that mean? Tomcat creates.
But this one is too outdated. There's it's well made.
Servlet objects which are required in order to run an application. So you would say you're deploying an application. What you would do, you would configure all the servlets in an XML, and you would supply the classes. Now, what Tomcat does is it reads the XML, and then it identifies what are the servlets that needs to be instantiated, and then it creates those servlets. So Spring, it's something similar. It's a container, but it's not a container of servlets. It's a container of beans. So pretty much any Pojo that you have can be contained inside a Spring container. So you can have a Spring container, and inside this you can have as many number of objects as you want.
Oh, fuck me.
And all these are managed by the Spring container. Managed in the
That's one thing which I thought it will make me cool to look on the stream, but makes me nauseous how awful it is. Fuck. You satisfied? You satisfied? Okay, so this is the thing. What, like this? Is it better? Okay. Hey, Maverick. And we'll set the timer for 5 minutes. This is a Spring thingy, and I guess so. Not really EE, it's Spring. Here, where is it? Oh my god. You know, like maybe it's not so bad. I don't know. I bought it and there's a joke, you know, like it says it's supposed to. Oh my fucking god. It's supposed to change based on the music. Czech Republic. Supposed based on the music. There's a like tiny microphone in it. It's just makes me almost vomit. So here it is. I look evil. I'm from Czech Republic. Yeah, so
the sense it handles the
I will probably
instantiation
not.
of those objects, it handles the whole life cycle of the objects, and it handles the destruction of those objects. You can of course have objects outside of the container as well in your application, but adding the objects
Holy
inside
fuck,
the
that is
Spring
really
container that
distracting.
manages the objects gives you a whole lot of advantages.
And like,
Now, what are the advantages of having our objects inside the Spring container? We will have a look at that in the subsequent tutorials. But the point here is that we are learning Spring and we are implementing Spring in order for Spring to manage our object lifecycle. Now, in order for Spring to manage our object lifecycle, say I have this object here, and I want Spring to manage the lifecycle, it's obvious that Spring needs to have a handle on this object. Spring needs to own this object. It needs to know what the object is and
that
where
will
it is.
fucking burn my retina.
The object is actually done by Spring. Now, you say I have an object here that's dependent on this object. Okay, normally.
Well, I do learn Angular too, and the Spring is backend framework, and the React, Vue, or Angular are front-end frameworks. I know you can use. I've heard that you can use Spring to do the server-side rendering of HTML too, but I don't intend to do that because it's fucking trash. You have to use JS. Oh, there will be flame war.
If you're not using Spring, what you would do is you would say, let's call this object A and let's call this object B. Okay, inside the code of object A, you would say object B equals new object B. So I'm creating a new object inside this object. Now, if I do that, the new object that gets created is not handled by the Spring container because that's something that you're creating here. Spring doesn't know that that object exists. So the way the objects are created by the Spring container is, instead of saying I want a new object, instead of writing the code that says new object, what you would do is you would write code to ask the Spring container to instantiate this object and then pass it to this object. So this is something called as a factory pattern. So let's have a quick look at what factory pattern means. Now, again, I have the object here. Instead of creating a new object B, what I do is I make a call to another object, which is a factory object.
Oh,
now,
thank you for the follow.
Factory, which is again another Java object. But what this does is, the whole job of this object factory is to create new objects and then hand it over to the object. It's analogous to an actual factory. The whole purpose of this is to produce objects. So now, how does the object factory produce objects? What it does is, it reads from a configuration. It probably has a configuration file somewhere or some metadata, which has details about all the objects that it needs to create. It's a blueprint for all the objects that this object factory has to create. So what this object factory does is it reads from this blueprint. And then this object will tell, hey, I need an object of such and such a specification. The object factory finds out what is the blueprint for that particular object specification. And then now the object factory knows what object needs to be created. So it's going to create this new object. And then it's going to hand it back to the requesting object. So now this object has object.
Holy fuck!
It's not actually doing a new
That's horrible.
It's referring to the object factory, and then the object factory creates this new object by reading the configuration and then hands it back. So this is something that Spring does. We can use
Spring and the 5-minute timer for that is done.
Work in Spring is Spring has a bean factory. It has an object called a bean factory. We use the Spring bean factory in order to let Spring create new objects for us. So I will have an object.
And here, yeah, we did mark it as a complete already. Yeah, so well, that concludes the round number 1. And